right, we are recording and sound check in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is going to be Dad's podcast, episode 1. A couple of cool things happened this week or should I say, on Netflix. Santa Clarita Diet season 3 came out, and it is just as good as seasons 1 and 2, which I'm very happy about. There still seems to be just as much blood, still seems to be just as much gore, and still seems to be just as much humor, which I'm really happy about. That's by far the best thing about it is the characters and how the characters interact with each other. I am, however, really disappointed that Nathan Fillion didn't come back, which I was really mad about until today. My wife looked up who's playing the severed head, since it's not Nathan Fillion, and it ended up being Alan Tudyk Wash from Firefly. So you had Mal from Firefly playing the severed head at first, he played the character who became the severed head, and now the severed head has been recast as Wash from Firefly, which I was mad about at first, and now I'm actually okay with, just because of who it was. Which I don't know how I didn't recognize the voice, but once you know who it is, you know who it is. He also voiced the chicken in Moana. Fun fact, which he did a video where he was making the chicken noises, and he looks into the camera and he goes, "I went to Juilliard." It's really funny. Also, other Netflix news, The Dirt, which is the Motley Crue biopic, which I highly suggest you watch, even if you don't like Motley Crue that much. Because I listen to Motley Crue along with other, late 70s, 80s, and 90s sort of like, I guess in the 90s it kind of faded away, but a lot of hair metal. Twisted Sister and Kiss, of course. So I listened to it, but I wasn't a super fan. I didn't know a lot about them as a band or their personal lives, other than, the major headline news, like Vince's daughter dying and stuff like that, which isn't a spoiler because it's news. It's been out forever, so that shouldn't spoil anything for you. Check it out, though. Just check it out. Machine Gun Kelly plays Tommy Lee, which I watched the movie. I think I've watched it twice now, maybe 3 times. The first time I watched it, I didn't realize who was playing Tommy Lee. He just comes out there, skinny dude with drumsticks, with long hair. I don't know how I didn't recognize him. I should have recognized him, especially with him being in the news so much with his beef with Eminem. I should have. I mean, I know who he is. I know what he looks like. I didn't realize it until I was just scrolling through YouTube. And a video of them came up talking about the movie, and it was Machine Gun Kelly, which I thought was really neat. So check it out. It is really good. It's a lot like, for me, Straight Outta Compton. I've heard the music. I am white. I wasn't a super fan. I didn't know a lot about their personal lives, just pop culture stuff that everybody knew, stories that have been retold that were of significance. But I watched the movie, and then I became not a super fan, but a fan of them as people, and a fan of their music. Which sounds like you're hopping on a bandwagon, which I guess in a way you are. But that's what those movies are for. They're to give you insight into somebody else's life that you either didn't know about, or maybe didn't know you wanted to know about. A lot like Walk the Line. People my age know who Johnny Cash is, and we've heard the music before, but we learn more about him, even though some of the stuff in these movies isn't 100% accurate, which is fine. It's okay to take liberties. They do in The Dirt. They take a lot of liberties, but it's for a whole different kind of reason. Some of the things that aren't super accurate, apparently. Vince was a lot more under the influence in real life than in the movie whenever he got in his car accident. In the movie, it does show him holding a beer before he gets in, but he's holding a pretty decent conversation before the crash, which apparently he was way more drunk than that. Which, I mean, they're not historical documentaries. They're not made to show all the facts. They're made to entertain. And Walk the Line does the same way, and it goes the same kind of direction as that. Making things, taking somebody's life, taking all of the cool stories of their life, and making a movie that's only going to run about 2.5 to 3 hours would be really difficult. What moments do you pick out of someone's life to put on film? Do they always make the right choice? I don't know. Look at, I don't know, a good one would be the Howard Hughes movie, the one starring the Aviator, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. That movie, I mean, Howard Hughes had a weird fucking life. I mean, his whole germaphobe thing and going nuts. So what moments do you pick out of something like that? They focus on, the spruce goose and things like that. And when he goes crazy and starts peeing in glass jars. So, I mean, The Dirt does show like Tommy Lee eating a girl out and she squirts like 3 feet in the air. That's in the movie. And apparently that kind of shit actually happened at their hangout. But I do suggest you see it. The rating, it probably would be a hard R. I mean, you see boobs and stuff, but I mean, it is on Netflix for everyone to see, so it probably is a hard R. More entertainment news. This is really cool, and it excites me, and I know it's going to excite some of my friends as well. Hugh Jackman was talking to BBC Radio 2, and they asked him about The Greatest Showman. Specifically, they asked him about The Greatest Showman sequel, and he said a solid maybe. And this is awesome news because a lot of times, it's awesome news, but a lot of the time, whenever there's a good movie, there's always talks about a sequel, especially if a movie makes money. Beetlejuice was supposed to have a sequel where he goes to Hawaii, and thank God that didn't happen. It sounds really funny, and it sounds, too crazy to be true, but they were going to have Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii, and thank God that didn't happen. But anyway, they asked him while he was promoting his new film Missing Link. He said that there could be a sequel to The Greatest Showman. They said there's talks of something going around, but no one is sure. He's more focused on the live show, the touring show he's doing for The Greatest Showman songs, but he did say that there are talks and they are working on something. So it's a solid maybe. I think it needs it, even though this is another case of a biopic that is completely inaccurate to somebody's real life. P.T. Barnum was not that good looking. He did not jump around the ring like that. He was an old fat man in his 50s when he even started the circus. He had a lot of businesses before then that didn't even take off. The circus took off when he was in his late 50s and he was fat. And the whole thing with the wife, that none of that happened. He was actually married twice. His first wife died and he married again within like 7 months. So the whole movie is just false. And Zac Efron's character is completely made up. It didn't even exist in real life. Which I think is fine because it's a good movie. It makes a good story, but completely inaccurate to the real character's life. But solid maybe, and that excites me. CBS All Access also just today or yesterday, they started streaming the new Twilight Zone series, Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. Oh my God. So I watched it and I really enjoyed, because they premiered 2 episodes. They did The Comedian and Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which is a play on Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which has actually been remade once already, which I'll get to that. I watched The Comedian and I liked it. I didn't think it was awful. I didn't think that it was anything to complain about. I thought that it was solid. I did, however, feel like it didn't need to be 55 minutes long. Ooh. It didn't need to be it didn't need to be 55 minutes long. That's a story that could have been told in the 33, even 25 TV time mark. The whole story of him figuring out the power that he has, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away because I want you to watch it because it is good. I'm not going to give any spoilers. It takes him a long time to realize what's going on, and it takes almost too long. Like, it's comical how long it takes this main character to realize what's going on. So I think as a pilot, I don't think I would have started with that one. I would have started with one of the more funnier ones, maybe not even funnier. I don't want to say that. I would have started with a more exciting one, maybe one that's more action-packed and more of a mystery, because the trailer at the end of that episode, which showed what's to come in the series, there's some cool-looking stuff. And I did see a quick shot of the coin-operated card machine from the William Shatner episode, which gets me to the next one, the second episode that they premiered, because they premiered 2 of them. They double-dipped on it for some weird reason, and I think it's because the first episode of every show is free on CBS All Access. Same with every other streaming site like that you have to pay for, because it gets you hooked. So if they did one, everybody would be happy this week. They would have watched one episode and been like, we have a whole week now to decide whether or not we want to actually pay the money for it. So by doing 2, that gives you a secret little cookie there in the cookie jar that you know is there, and you're going to want to do it. I think they did that to boost the payments coming in for people subscribing. I think it was literally there just to boost subscriptions, which I still haven't subscribed. So it didn't really work. I'm still thinking about it. The Comedian was good. But I was surprised at all the hate. There's so much hate for this episode for some reason. I was just doing just a little bit of research here before I started doing the podcast, just to see, really I just wanted to see when it was put on there and make sure I wasn't out of the loop on it. But apparently there's some bad reviews on it. And ironically, some people did say it lasted a little bit too long, and I will agree with that. But they're saying it was a weak story. I think the story was fine. I also liked seeing, because everybody knows that he did say that he was going to have more main characters of color, which I'm totally cool with. I don't think that's a racist thing to say at all, because in his words, he said that he doesn't want a white male lead because he's seen that story, and we have seen that story. I mean, Star Wars, almost everybody's white, and the one black guy they double-crossed him, and he was a smooth-talking double-crosser, but he did help them out in the end. But there's only one black character, and you do get Mace Windu in the new series, but, Indiana Jones, white, Superman, our movie version of Superman is white, which he should be because that's Clark Kent. There are other black Supermen, just like there is a mixed Spider-Man. There's different universes, the same thing, but I'm okay with seeing main characters of color. I dig it, and it wasn't shoved in your face either. It just was just like, hey, here's this guy. He looks like this. This is his story, and I was cool with that. I hope he does more of that as well. But Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, that has a main character. It's a white guy. It's actually Adam Scott, which I was happily surprised to see that it was going to be him, because I usually think of him as like in a comedy sort of atmosphere. So I think that'll be kind of neat to watch. I didn't watch it yet though. I am saving that one for later. Which is obviously a remake. Nightmare at 30,000 Feet is obviously a remake of Nightmare at 20,000 feet, which has been remade once before in the Twilight Zone movie. And the original one starred William Shatner, Captain Kirk. Same thing with the original one with the coin-operated card machine was also William Shatner. So I'll be excited what they do with that as well. And if they do a Talking Tina episode, I'll be kind of mad because I don't want just a bunch of remakes of good old episodes. I want to see some cool new stuff. And from the trailer, some of the stuff looked kind of cool, but you know, that's kind of what a trailer's for. So, thanks for watching or listening. I guess if you're watching. So, thanks for watching and listening. There will be more content to come. I don't know when. I'm really tired right now. If you'd like to hear more of this podcast, you can follow me on Stitcher. It's also going to be uploaded on SoundCloud and soon iTunes. There's probably another 10, 15, 20 minutes, half hour. Who the hell knows? I haven't edited it yet. But there is more of this podcast, so if you would like to hear more, if you enjoyed what you watched, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you didn't enjoy what you just watched, then please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel anyway. Thank you.